CTV News at 5 with Hudson Mack.
Good evening, I'm Andrew Johnson. Hudson Mack is away tonight. A poorly performing economy is beginning to take its toll. A perfect storm of lower resource prices and news of manufacturing slowdowns hammered North American stock markets today. And Moody's Investors Service dropped the hammer this afternoon, cutting the credit ratings of some of the world's largest banks, including the Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, and the Royal Bank. The ratings agency said late Thursday that the banks were downgraded because their long-term prospects for profitability and growth are shrinking. Moody's placed the Royal Bank as well as several other big-name banks under review earlier this year. A downgrade usually means it becomes more costly for banks to raise money by selling debt. He cashed in on the Giro d'Italia, becoming the first Canadian to capture one of cycling's 3 major tour titles last month. Now, Victoria native rider Hez Jadal has been given the nod to lead the Canadian road cycling team at the London Olympics. Hez Jadal will ride as Canada's lone competitor in the men's time trial and road race. CTV News sports reporter Jordan Cunningham joins us live with more. Jordan, fresh off the Giro, the Tour de France is coming up. Does Ryder have enough time to train?
Andrew, it's unbelievable, but Ryder says he does. Despite winning the Giro and riding in the Tour de France, he says riding in the Olympics has been part of his plan all along. Now, Ryder leaves for Belgium in 4 days to begin preps for the Tour, and we caught up with him this morning in Spain.
I'm ecstatic. It's something that I was looking forward to all season, and I've based my season around it. And, yeah, to be finally selected, it just puts the pieces in place so that I can continue to do the work and work towards the goal. I'm happy to be selected and take my chance to represent Canada.
Now, Ryder's first Olympics was in Athens 8 years ago in mountain biking. In 2008, he raced in Beijing just days after finishing the Tour de France. And Garmin Barracuda made it official today that Ryder will lead their team at the Tour de France. We'll hear much more about that coming up a little later in sports. Andrew?
All right, see you then. Thanks, Jordy.
All right.
A frightening start to the morning at the Our Place drop-in center in downtown Victoria after a fire sent people spilling into the street. 3 engines arrived on scene just before 10. The building was already evacuated and fire crews went in with their hoses to tackle the flames. Firefighters say they spotted smoke coming from the basement of the building in the boiler room.
There was a small fire in one of the bins downstairs. Donation, perhaps either something was in there that combusted or there was something that was flicked into the bin that caused it to go on fire. Our basement's out of commission right now because the sprinkler system did go off, but we'll be back up and running in no time.
Our Place says everyone got out safe and no one was hurt in the fire. Because the sprinklers were activated, there was some minor water damage to the basement. Some ceiling tiles and a few donation bins were destroyed. All of the firefighting equipment in the basement will also have to be replaced. If you have any of those items or can donate some cash to replace them, please call Our Place at 250-388-7112. And if you have some time on your hands at 9 tomorrow morning, Our Place is looking for a few good volunteers to help clean up. And just a few hours later, the only smoke you could see at Our Place was coming from the grill. Hundreds of people came out for a barbecue and live entertainment in support of National Aboriginal Day. Employees from Aon and Our Place teamed up to help feed the most vulnerable.
Today's a very special day for our community. We have a large Aboriginal population at our place, and we want to honor and respect the culture, the day, and the people who come here and are part of our family.
Right now we see an estimate, I'd say at least a couple of hundred people here that are all hungry and really appreciating the meal that's being served. And, you know, they're anticipating that there'll be a few of us out here singing some songs and saying, you know, thank you for this day.
In Victoria, Our Place serves around 1,500 meals a day. A group of Indigenous students is celebrating its life achievements on National Aboriginal Day. Aboriginal students at Camosun College were moving to the beat of their own drum today in celebration of their graduation and National Aboriginal Day. Camosun staff held a barbecue to reward the 50 Aboriginal learners for reaching their goals this year. The school says it has seen a rise in graduates from its 6 Aboriginal programs.
Every day is Aboriginal Day, if you ask me, but it's nice to have a special day where the country takes notice of Aboriginal people within Canada, and it's also Aboriginal Day is one of those days where we can stop focusing on the negative that usually appears in the news stories and focus on the positive. That we're here, we're a functioning, strong part of the Canadian society, and we will continue to be.
For 20 years, Camosun College has been leading the way in Aboriginal education. The college welcomes anyone from across the island and across the country. City of Victoria crews are putting the finishing touches on a signature garden at Topaz Park to welcome visitors and celebrate the capital's 150th anniversary. The garden is in full bloom with more than 1,200 plants, boasting some of the richest colors, consisting of dusty millers, marigolds, and begonias. The flowers were planted in an exact replica of the logo for Victoria's 150th year. Crews say it's been a work in progress.
Spent several days just moving the soil on this bed up to the top of the bed and raking it out to get it flat. So normally the bed is mounted if we do a normal floral display in it. So several days just prepping it and flattening the bed and doing the design work on it. We've probably spent quite a few hours on the design work. There's computer work that went into it to scale it with the city's official 150th logo.
Topaz Garden is one of the most high-profile areas in Victoria, greeting more than 21,000 commuters every day as they enter the city. A Vancouver Island MP says she wants to stop the growing threat of Lyme disease. Green Party leader Elizabeth May was in Ottawa today creating a national Lyme disease strategy. May is introducing a private member's bill which calls for a national conference of public health officials, researchers, and patient advocates to come together and develop a plan to fight the disease. May says she wants the bill tabled before the House rises for the summer because the quicker we find a solution, the more lives we can save.
We're not seeing doctors who understand the issue well enough, and treatments are often too slow. Diagnosis is often misdiagnosis, and far too many Canadians will be exposed to Lyme disease this summer without knowing they're at risk. Far too many Canadians are. And meanwhile, there are people at the forefront of spreading awareness, increasing information, and ensuring that our medical community is prepared to properly diagnose and act quickly.
May says scientific studies show temperatures across Canada are on the rise, changing the number of infectious diseases in species such as birds and insects, which are carriers of Lyme disease. A group of elementary students in the Capital Region are getting an A when it comes to helping others. A grade 5 class is going above and beyond to help a classmate suffering with muscular dystrophy. Students at École Marigold were collecting bottles in order to help classmate Gabe Pollard today. Gabe has muscular dystrophy, and just recently he got a wheelchair to help him get around. In efforts to help Gabe, the students organized a bottle drive to raise money for his family to renovate their home so Gabe can have a ramp to roll inside.
Why do you need renovations to your house?
So I can get my wheelchair in and out of my house.
Wow. That's pretty important.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yes. And we live with my mom, and the place that we live at is not wheelchair accessible. And so to offset some of the money that I have to put out, plus get in grant money, the school has decided, as Gabe's class has started a bottle drive. And it was quite a surprise for me that it just took off like wildfire.
Gabe says he got his wheelchair 6 weeks ago and he needs it when his energy levels are low. If you'd like to make a cash donation to help Gabe, you can call École Marigold Elementary School at 250-479-8256. Victoria police say the 85-year-old man behind the wheel of a car who caused a 6-car pileup in a busy downtown Victoria intersection was confused. Police believe the driver, who sped through a red light, hitting a pedestrian and then 4 other cars at Blanchard and Bay Streets, may have mistaken the gas pedal for the brake. Officers say they're still trying to figure out how fast the car was going. The Puntledge River in Courtenay is about to get more dangerous. Beginning tomorrow night, BC Hydro will triple the river flow, keeping it at that level through the weekend until Monday. The increase is to help control the levels in the Comox Lake Reservoir. BC Hydro is advising everyone to stay away from the Puntledge until flow levels return to normal. The utility says there is no risk of downstream flooding. RCMP are looking for your help to solve a strange string of thefts. They've been going on for more than a year, with the most recent happening just last month. In each instance, the victim has purchased a large quantity of cigarettes from a Vancouver Island Costco location, most often the Nanaimo store. Shortly after, the cigarettes are stolen.
They've all originated from Costco, and what we believe is happening is somebody is following these cars either to another retail outlet where the car is being broken into, or to a home. And in one particular case, one was in Port Alberni, another one was up island towards Qualicum, where the car was actually broken into in their driveway. So that tells us the people are being followed.
Over the past year, an estimated $40,000 worth of Costco purchased cigarettes have been stolen. Police say they've hit a dead end, and they're hoping you can help.
We've done a lot of investigative techniques. We've worked closely with Costco security. At this point, we haven't made any arrests. We're asking for the public's assistance in assisting us. We have very little go on. A lot of these break-ins from the cars were in public places. People either heard or saw something, and often these criminals will often brag. So we're looking for help from the public.
And who could be behind the cigarette thefts? You're asked to contact Nanaimo RCMP or Crime Stoppers. Police in Oceanside are looking for your help tonight in the Parksville area, locating 51-year-old Roxanne Price. Roxanne is 5 foot 6 inches tall, weighs 140 pounds, and has brown, wavy hair. She's driving a van very similar to the one shown there, a 1997 blue Ford Windstar with BC license plate 931GBA. Bank records indicate Roxanne may have been in the Greater Victoria area in the early morning hours of June 21st. Roxanne is traveling with a small black poodle puppy. The Nanaimo First Nation marked National Aboriginal Day with a public celebration at Swaialanan Lagoon. The day included traditional First Nations cuisine, entertainment, and activities for people of all ages. The First Nation invited the entire community to participate, saying sharing their culture with others is an important part of National Aboriginal Day. The day was proclaimed by the Governor-General in 1996. Teachers and other supporters are standing behind the Cowichan School trustees as they prepare to submit a restoration budget to the provincial government. Last night, they rallied outside the school district's office in Duncan, coinciding with a rally being held in Victoria in support of the Cowichan trustees. The education minister has said the trustees will risk losing their jobs if they submit a deficit budget, but the trustees say there is no way they can deliver quality education with the money they are given to work with. The rally was a show of community support for the trustees.
Because we have been threatened with termination by the minister, I think that people have felt that the election results from last November are being set aside, and that is not something that the community is comfortable with. And regardless of how you feel about anything else, if local people are elected to positions on a platform and then they carry out their platform, for an upper level of government to come along and say, I'm sorry, you're out, seems improper.
The trustees have until the end of the month to submit a balanced budget, but say they have no plans to do so. They're hoping the education minister will choose to meet with them and negotiate. Diana Krall Plaza was alive with Olympic excitement today for Nanaimo's Liftoff to London celebration. Pacific Sport hosted the liftoff as a show of support for our athletes as they head to London to compete for Canada. 6 athletes from the Mid-Island will be part of Team Canada, including veteran Paralympian Michelle Stilwell.
It's just a wonderful event to come out today and have our community support us and show that they're behind us all the way when we head into the Olympic and the Paralympic Games. I'm definitely gunning. It's not about the experience this time around. I have very high expectations and a clear vision of what I want my results to be.
Everything kind of went according to plan and went well going into trials, and I performed well, so I'm just going to try to recreate that going into the games.
Large Canadian flags were unfurled at today's event to be signed by locals. Those flags will accompany our athletes to London.